Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
Listening to the Toy Rewind Podcast. I am Michael.
I'm John.
And I'm Andrew. And like Michael said, you're listening to the Toy Rewind Podcast. This is episode 114, although we kind of feel like maybe this is episode 0.5 because this is the third time that we've tried to record this episode. Last week we had technical difficulties with internet. This week we've had, I don't know what, I had a computer issue. We were in the middle of recording and Michael's audio went berserk. I don't even. The only one that's stable here is John, apparently, which is something we never thought we'd hear that said.
That's scary, yeah.
So you're listening to episode 114. This is Toy Rewind Podcast, just a little place where the three of us like to get together and talk about toys from our childhood. This week, we rewind back to 1987, and we talk about the Air Raiders that were released by Hasbro, even though my notes originally said Coleco. So another technical difficulty. This is going to be, if you're still here, this is going to be a fun podcast. Stick around. We're going to get through it, and it's going to be together. Before we can talk about the Air Raiders, John, you want to do your thing?
Yeah, I can.
All right,
I'll do it again. So, social networks, where to find us, guys? Check our websites out over at toyrewindpodcast.com. We're also on crossthestreamsmedia.com. If you go to Cross the Streams Media, leave us a voicemail, use the little microphone down in the bottom corner. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube is Toy Rewind Podcast. And again, I think this one's going to get some upgrades with some deals on it. But if you want to play a little bingo game while you're listening to us, go to podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind and keep looking for the new squares that say technical difficulties talked about.
Technical difficulties. I think we're going to have to add one. Michael freezes. I don't know. I will say, because we talked about this just a minute ago, but since the listeners aren't getting to hear that, so I mentioned to you guys I was going to be a few minutes late. John responds back with, we may be out of air by then, which I was confused by, but then I remembered we were talking about Air Raiders, and it all came back to me. So not as funny the second time as I tell the story, but I didn't want our listeners to miss out on some of our great banter that we had.
Hey, you should put some of that banter in at the end and just...
Well, Michael did say in the other one that this is kind of a short one, so we may have to pull some of that in, and we'll just add a little thing like, "This is what you missed." And
we need a blooper reel, like
there you go,
like Burt Reynolds did on all his movies at the end, like Cannonball Run and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I will say this is the last time we will attempt to record Air Raiders. If it doesn't go well, then we will not be talking about Air Raiders. So we'll see. If you make it through this podcast and you get information about Air Raiders, then awesome. We were able to get it done. But if not, then sorry, Hasbro. It wasn't meant to be. Yeah. So anything going on with you guys? All good?
All good.
Yeah, we're all good.
Michael,
I'm on vacation this week, so it's been pretty good.
You're on vacation. We just surpassed Michael's 488th birthday, which makes John like 702. Oh, wait, that's the wrong way.
I was like,
202. I went the wrong way. And then I'm only 30, so it's all good. Michael, you mentioned you got some new Transformer, right?
I did. Yeah, I got some studio. I got, I like the studio series. Is what I collect on the Transformers. This is Bumblebee. This is number 100 out of the set because they're all numbered. So this is from Bumblebee from Transformer Rise of the Beast, which is the new movie coming out this summer, I think. July,
And
I think.
something you mentioned about that box earlier, it just kind of triggered me because we talk a lot about the packaging and stuff like that from the olden days, and through how things have obviously changed. Funko, which is a lot of my collectibles, hasn't really changed much. They went from a clamshell to the box, and the boxes have been pretty unchanged. A little bit of graphics here or there, but mostly unchanged. But that one has something that you pointed out. It doesn't have the window in it.
Yeah, it's plastic-free packaging is what they've gone to now, and I think all of Hasbro stuff is like that. It's going that way. I'm looking at. So I got a Galvatron just earlier this week, and he has, like I said, there's no plastic window, but the straps that hold them in are plastic, whereas.
So he's a semi-plastic free.
Yeah, it doesn't say plastic free on his. Like I said, he's number 90, so he came out a little earlier. Bumblebee says plastic free packaging except tape and glue. I didn't know glue was plastic, but I understand the tape. But the straps that are holding Bumblebee in are kind of a twine. It's not a plastic strap, so it's twine.
But it actually says that on the box, except tape and glue.
Yes, it says right there on the bottom.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Interesting.
So is he a metal figure?
No, he's got metal and plastic. So the
plastic
figure,
free
it's
box.
just
Not the
says
figure,
packaging.
it's the box.
It says
packaging.
Okay.
plastic free packaging. So which is something Hasbro, and I told you guys earlier the issue I don't like, and I mentioned this in a Motoring Monday as well that I did a while back, was there was a figure I was going to buy at Target, one of these, and I looked in there and his head was completely missing. So somebody reached in and pulled his head off. So.
And that's where I was going with this. To be honest, like the plastic free stuff, let's save the environment, all good. But if there is a plastic free box and you go out and rip heads off of figures, we're gonna send the toy police after you. And if you're at a store and you see a little kid do it, you have the right to kick that kid out of the store.
And
come on, don't be messing up the toys that we're trying to buy and collect here.
Something else I've noticed, because these still have the windows, so it's just open windows. If you look at, I don't know about the G.I. Joe lines or I know the Marvel Legends, I think it is. They're just in a box, so you can't see the figure inside there. At least this one still has a small window you can see. It's not a very big window, but at least you can still see the figure. But that's the problem with it. Things can fall off and get and come completely out of the box, and so
that's kind of
big on that.
Yeah, that's the one I was just wanting to get. Don't rip off toy heads if you're listening to this. This is a public service announcement. Don't screw up the toys that other people want to collect. Don't dip boxes. If it happens in shipping or whatever, that's one thing. But don't actively do it. Please don't do that. That's not nice. With that, John did his thing. Michael, you ready to talk about some Air Raiders by Hasbro?
Excuse me. Yes, let's go.
All right. Well, then let's rewind and get into it. Let's go.
All right, so take two on this because I got a couple paragraphs in and it went haywire on us a while ago. All right, so Air Raiders was a line produced by Hasbro and was released in 1987. It also ran into 1988. This was another line that was not it didn't succeed at all. And it only had one series. So this is very similar to what we talked about last episode with Wheeled Warriors. The line itself is more centered around the vehicles, not really the figures. So the figures were just like Wheeled Warriors. They were 2-inch generic figures. The good thing about this, which could be a bad thing as well, the good thing was it didn't have a confusing cartoon to go along with it. Which was a good thing, but then it's a bad thing because it didn't have a cartoon to promote it. The 2-inch figures, they did have names. that came with the vehicles, but they were all, like I said, they were generic. They all looked kind of the same. You had the two leaders from each section. You had good guys and bad guys, which we'll get into. They were a little bit different. Then you had like the general, the main officer of the sections. There was two each, I think. They looked a little bit different, and then all the rest of them looked the same. Just your troop builder type looking guys. They did have names, like I said, with it, but they all looked the same. So you really didn't know who was who. So there was a comic book release for this. Marvel put out a release that lasted 5 issues between November of 1987 and July of '88. These were about every 2 months you got a new comic book. The storyline was actually made. Let me find out where I'm at. Each toy, like let's go back. So this is where we messed up.
Let's go back. That's where it messed up last time.
Yeah. So each toy from the line came with instructions, and then the instructions came with an insert with detailed information regarding the whole scope of Airlandia, which is the world of the air raiders. So it had information about Airlandia, the air raiders, the tyrants of the wind, who were the bad guys, and all this other information. And then Marvel kind of pieced it together and created a storyline for the comics. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know, but it had to make some kind of sense compared to what World Warriors was. That was a complete mess with their cartoon.
Yeah.
But this, the comic books, to have a good storyline, Marvel pieced it all together to do that. So, so a little bit about their story. So we got the planet of Airlandia. You had 2 groups fight for control of all the air. The Air Raiders, a band of daring rebels, to fight to usurp the dictatorship of the evil Emperor Arazar, his 4 lords of the wind, and the evil enforcer warriors. The Air Raiders' secret base, located in the petrified cloud forest, is Airlandia's only safe haven for air. The struggle for life, power, and air are all inclusive, and only one group shall claim the victor. So, what does that? Yeah, what does that sound like to you? What other storyline? You got rebels against the emperor, and then they have a cloud city, and so
I mean, this is Star Wars, but you know, I'll make some people mad and be like, so is Harry Potter. So
they kind of, yeah. I mean, any kind of story like that, you can kind of come up where they all kind of match.
Yeah.
So they're so anyway, they kind of and so the line consisted of 9 vehicles. You had 5 good vehicles and 4 bad vehicles. You had 2 different 5-packs of figures that you can use. Like I said, they all looked the same. You had 1 officer and 4 soldiers in each one. You had a package of 5 for the good guys and a package of 5 for the bad guys. There was 1 play set with this series, with this line. It was the Command Outpost, which was for the Air Raiders. Now, there was a second play set for the Tyrants of the Wind that was advertised. It's all in the advertisements and all that kind of stuff, but it was never made. So this, like I said, this line got cut pretty short because it didn't do very well. So the gimmick of this line, like we talked about, most of the lines in the 80s had a gimmick. So air power was the gimmick of this line. The large vehicles had a built-in kind of an airbag system that when pressed, it would blow air through tubes and then shoot off missiles, because the missiles were at the front of the vehicle. And the airbag was in the back, but they were all connected with tubes, and you could turn a little knob to either shoot your right missile or your left missile, or you shoot both of them at the same time. You kind of had the control of what you wanted to do on that as well. Let's see where we're at. The smaller vehicles came with like an air cannon, is what it called, which was a little handheld airbag thing. that had a tube that you would insert the tube into the vehicle, and then you would press the airbag, and it would shoot. The air would shoot the vehicle across the table, the floor, whatever you had. It rolled. They had most of them had wheels that were hidden, so you really couldn't see. So it kind of looked like they were gliding across the floor.
Right.
There was one vehicle that had wheels that would roll, bigger wheels. We'll get to that here in just a minute.
Those little deals, though, they remind me more. I think I would stomp on them with my foot more than I'd.
Yeah, you can. I mean, just anything. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Be like,
I know what you're talking about.
You probably get more force with your foot than you would.
It'd
You
go-
probably just
It
pound
might
it
actually
with your fist.
might actually take air, get some
Yeah.
air.
I was a little lost for a second as what you were talking about, and then when you said that, John, I was like, oh okay.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah,
yeah.
you would insert it in the vehicle and pound it, and the air would blow it out.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the command outpost, this one, it ran by air powered as well. It had several missiles that were shot out with air power. By on the back of it, it had a main laser thing where a guy would sit in, and it had a laser on top of it. Well, you would raise that up, and when you pushed it back down, it would force air through other tubes, and it would shoot the missiles out. You had control of which tube you wanted to shoot through, or you can do several of them at the same time. It just depends on where you turn the little knob on. It had a little platform as well that would kind of wobble when you put air through it, and it came with rocks. So you put the rocks on there and put your little figures by that little area, and when you push the air through that, the thing would wobble and the rocks would fall on the bad guys. So on your figures. The kind of like a rock slide. The playset had several little compartments that you would open up. You can put your guys in. There's storage compartments. When you opened it up, you could see the insides were computers and like a secret base would when you looked inside of secret base type thing. The base itself, the command outpost, came with 6 action figures itself, and then extra missiles. So you've got a lot of figures with all these vehicles and the playset. Like I said, they're all generic 2-inch people. They had a little bit of articulation to them. Their arms would move, and I think their head would move a little bit. But when you moved their legs, they would move together. They wouldn't move separately. So when you pulled one up, both of them would go up and down. So, like I said, they were just generic. There's nothing.
So they were basically like one piece through the body. The leg was like one piece, and they just moved up.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So this is Hasbro we're talking about. So the main colors of the Air Raiders are like a red and orange color, and the main colors of the Tyrants is like a purple and black color. So you can kind of tell it was Hasbro, because that's your Autobots and your Decepticon colors as well.
Yeah.
So, and if you look at it, G.I. Joe's kind of the same way a little bit. Your Cobra guys are all purple and black as well. So, and some of the G.I. Joes have kind of a brighter color to them. So you kind of see that as well through all their Hasbro lines. And I really didn't realize that until I was sitting here looking over this set, and I'm all, definitely mid 80s for Hasbro.
Hasbro definitely, they found something that works and they went with it.
Yeah.
Just stick with it.
And they want, and I know with all these cinematic universes and stuff like that, Hasbro tried to do a crossover with their toy lines with the Transformers, and then they had a G.I. Joe movies and stuff, and they were wanting later down the road to combine the two to make one big to make it all. So that's kind of what they did back then in the 80s with these color schemes, I think is what it feels like to me. But the G.I. Joe movies didn't do too well, and it all that just went disintegrated anyway. So me personally, I loved the Transformer movies. So anyway, let's go back. Yeah. So let's go back to this. So the vehicles of the Air Raiders. So you had Thunderclaw, which was a small vehicle. It had the air cannon on it. It was one of those it would blow air and it roll across. It was kind of beetle looking. It had a claw in the front of it, where you can actually grab your other figures and stuff like that. And it came with 2 action figures. Finally, John's got a picture of it here on the screen if you're watching the video. But like I said, all these came with action figures. Like I said, they were all the same, but like this looks like kind of a little beetle looking thing with the claw in the front of it. So the next one is called Storm Dagger. It's another small vehicle. It ran off the air cannon as well. It looks like a futuristic type sailboat is what it is.
Yeah.
So it would take the air and it would sail across the land. So
apparently these didn't sell very well.
No, they didn't. No.
They didn't.
And what do you got marked down on that picture? $1.80. That's cheap.
Like, I mean, yeah, all the way down from
Where's that tag?
$5.95.
Very
I don't know
top
where that tag.
part of that tag.
I don't know. It's like
Aaron, where does it come from? I can't read it.
Service merchandise.
Service merchant. There you go.
Oh yeah, there you go. Service merchandise at the top. I see it now. Okay. All right. So this one also came with 2 action figures. So now that you get a little bit larger vehicle, you get like a medium-sized vehicle. It's the Twin Lightning. You can definitely tell with this one, it has a Star Wars influence on it. It's kind of like a TIE fighter without the big things on the sides. Is kind of what it looks like. It's got 2. You got your main, and it actually looks like a different one of the other spaceships in Star Wars. I can't remember what it looks like. Can't think of the name of the ship. But you have your 2 pods on each side, and in the middle is your engine part, which actually holds your airbag, I guess what you call it. And your missiles would be underneath each cockpit there. Yeah, and you would press it and it would shoot them out underneath there. So this is the medium on it. So
you're driving this airship
from
one of those cockpits,
right?
This has always been my problem with the Falcon. Also, the fact that you're not in the middle center or on the main, at least kind of centered, like, I don't know, being off to the side, how do you control something like that? Because like even the Enterprise, like they're still in the center of that thing. It may be huge, but they're still in the center of it.
Yeah. Yeah. This one, well, you get 2 figures with this as well. So you get 1 for each side. So
they're both driving.
They're both driving.
I'm sure that works.
So I'm sure when one wants to go left, the other one wants to go right.
Right.
So
yeah, that's how they all got ripped apart.
That's it.
Right here, there's a little switch to switch which side of which side of your missiles you're going to shoot.
I was going to say, if it just went to both every time, like you get half the power.
Right, yeah. But underneath there's this little lever you move back and forth.
Nobody wants half the power. Everybody wants
by the power of Grayskull.
All the power.
Yeah, exactly. So, where are we at now? We're at Thunderhammer, which is the next one. It's a large vehicle. Again, it fires different missiles as well. As you can see, you've got 1 on each side there, and you can see the tubes. And in the picture here, you can actually see the tubes that connect to them, little air tubes. Yeah. So you've got.
This one have some up underneath too?
Or
is that a different one?
That's a different one, I think. I think that's going to be your Man of War. It's going to have the bigger one. So this one has and this one has several guns as well that you can move around and pretend you're shooting from them as well. It comes with 4 figures with this vehicle. It can hold 5 figures, but it comes with 4. So the next one is
wait.
oh,
This one, large ship. I still want to point out they're steering from the center of it. I don't know if it's in the front or that guy in the back with the gun.
No,
But
I think
also,
this is your main guy.
is he the guy driving or is
I
he
don't know.
shooting?
no, he's using that gun.
Okay, he's using
Yeah.
that. Also, the guy in the middle is taking a nap.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
think
if
this
they
one-
know that.
I think this
He
one you can
fell
actually
over
get
it.
more. You can get a couple of people here, but this is the mechanism.
So you push
You
that down.
pull it up and push it down.
Okay,
and
so
it
that's
shoots
where the air
missile
comes in. That's
Yes.
cool. I like that idea. It's kind of a
with
hidden
the tear. Yeah, with
push. Yeah.
And that's same thing for the play set too. The way it works there. So the last vehicle in this set is the Man of War. It's the extra large vehicle for this, the biggest vehicle in this set. And the guy's got the picture here. It's kind of dusty. He should have dusted off before he took pictures of it. But it's got several. It's got several things coming. It comes with 8 figures. It has a surveillance pod and a scout car. So the scout car kind of comes out from. You can't really see it on this picture that he's got.
up underneath here.
Yeah, it's underneath that gun right there. It folds down, and a little 2-wheel looking vehicle comes out. Now the surveillance pod is what these guys are sitting in, a little round off to the side. That kind of comes up, and they can kind of move around with it. It has an air-powered grappling hook, so you can change the knob on the back of the thing, and it shoots out a grappling hook. It's got an air-powered launcher, 2 side-mounted air-powered missile launchers as well. And then on the top of it, this actually comes with a battery-powered thing, and on top it's got this little ball. And when you turn the battery, you turn it on, it actually blows air through that, and the ball kind of floats on top of the ship. So
Interesting.
it's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know how you would keep from losing that ball, but and how it actually floats.
This picture doesn't really give this justice. How long
doesn't.
is this thing? How long is this? What's the size?
I don't have the dimensions anymore.
It is. I think this is actually because your figures are 2 inches. So
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like,
it's a good 1.5 feet long.
are you trying to measure that based on?
Yeah.
See your mouse running down the side of it, John.
I was kind of looking at the figure, going 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I'd say almost 2 foot, probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about 2 foot piece. Yeah, this is the biggest piece other than the play set. Yeah. So, all right, John, do you have a picture of the play set? We can talk about it real quick. I know I already talked about it, but
Yeah, I've got the front of the box. I don't have.
the box works. It gives it justice here.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some off of. I'm looking at on, but it's an incomplete.
Yeah, I came up with a site that had a bunch of pictures on it, but I didn't tell you guys what it was. So,
I mean,
so while John's kind of filling with pictures there. There are names to these figures. Yeah, there's a picture of it. Actually, the Man of War is probably bigger than the playset. So you had the names of some of these figures. Like I said, they all look kind of the same, but you had Jason with the U, so it's JASUN. I guess it has to do with the air type thing. You had Lieutenant Noble. You had a guy named Khan. You had Commander Airlock, Buck, Field Commander Jad, Hook Fight. I can't remember what name that put on, but then you had General Rock ROKK. So that's your figures for the good guy. That's their names, at least.
This and the reason I was hesitant on pulling this up, this is actually an incomplete, but you still get a good idea of size and everything on this one.
Yeah.
This one shows you kind of side by side how Michael just said the other one's bigger.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger.
I think something's missing here.
Yeah, I didn't have everything on that picture you were showing. But anyway, let's go with the Tyrants of the Wind. So there's 4 vehicles in this. While I was talking about names, there's some names on these guys. You had Lieutenant Rat, Sergeant Razorback, Private Dak, Master Sergeant Blot, Private Blight, Commander Cronax, and you had Mace, and Commodore Dregs. So that's your name of the bad guys. Yeah, and see here's John's got a picture of the bad guy 5-pack. So you can see how all 4 of the regular guys are all exactly the same, and you had one officer. And it doesn't give you names on this. It just says includes Tyrants, the Wind Officer, and 4 soldiers. So the packaging didn't have names for them.
Then the officer or the one off on this one, they have another one that comes with the vehicle. I think that's more purple instead of grayish.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, there's one variation on the figure on that one figure. Yeah, it had 2 different colors. So, let's talk about these vehicles real quick. You had the Wind Razor, which was a small vehicle. It was an air cannon as well. Like I said, little thing you mash and it shoots across the floor. It came with 2 figures. Then you had, and John, you're looking at the Windseeker is what you're looking at. The Windseeker was small.
Yeah.
Again, it had the air cannon. It kind of looked like a mini wheeled tank.
There's a Razor. Yeah,
now you're looking at the Wind Razor. Yeah. So it kind of looks like a thing that would slide across the ice on the Wind Razor. So the Windseeker is another small vehicle just like that one. It was like a mini wheeled tank looking thing. It actually had a recon hovering craft. So the back part of this with that guy sitting in it, it would pop off and you could fly it around while your other tank was moving around. So I don't know. You had 2 hands. I guess you would roll one and fly the other one. So
that's
just patting your head, rubbing your stomach.
Yeah.
One of the 2. Yeah.
You gotta fly it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one came with 2 figures as well. So the medium vehicle was Hawkwind. Again, this is kind of a Star Wars inspired looking vehicle. It looks kind of like an X-Wing, but the wings don't fold together. They're just X. And actually, it kind of looks like a cross between an X-Wing and a fighter plane from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going.
It kind of looks like a Cobra vehicle, along a Cobra plane along with the X-Wing. Is what it looks like. So,
also on sale again.
Yeah, that one's on sale again too. You can tell how well this line did.
Real.
So, every picture we have reduced stickers on them. Let's see, we're talking about Hawkwind. Yeah, so this one had air-powered missiles. So you had a little piece on the back you would push down, and it would push air through and shoot the missiles. And it came with 2 vehicles as well. I mean, 2 figures as well. So the big one for this for the bad guys is called Dragon Wind. It's the large vehicle. It had air-powered rockets, and it had an air launch glider, and it came with 4 figures. So this one came with, like I said, the missiles that shoot out. You also could turn the knob to the center, and it would shoot. It had a little glider, and you can press it, and the glider would take off and fly across the room, just depending on how well the air pushed through it, how far it would go. Same way with the missiles. Most of the time, I saw the samples of people shooting the missiles. They were just kind of just go a few inches, and that was as far as it would go.
It all depends on whether you're pushing it or John's stamping on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
one of the two. Yeah. Well, this one doesn't have a piece where you can stomp on it. It's built into the vehicle, so you have to press it with your hand.
Yeah, this one's kind of like the other one that has the deal.
I
But
mean, I want to
only-
say that pressing it with your hand is recommended. I don't know if you have to press it with your hand, Michael.
Well, you would
Hammers
you would,
also work.
You would break the toy that way.
I'm just saying, you don't like to break things.
So,
I like
but
to figure out how they work.
yeah. So I mean, this is the only cool thing about this one. It has the glider that would shoot out. So something I want to look at. If you're looking at all the artwork on these packaging, the artwork's great, and it does look like reminds me of GI Joe artwork on front of their packaging as well. It may have the same artist. I think I come across something like that where the artwork is done by the same guy. I think that did some of the GI Joe stuff, but you can tell it has that influence, the GI Joe influence on the artwork on the boxes. So,
Yeah, it definitely has that influence. I like that.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
So, real quick on one other thing, that the bad guys, the tyrants of the wind had a and all the what I'm trying to say, all the advertising and stuff had a base as well, and it was called Air Refinery, but it was never produced.
Okay.
But it was supposed to. It had 4 air-powered missile launchers. It had a built-in air blaster. So you had air-powered escape car. So you would press the little thing, and the car would shoot across the floor. It had remote air-powered missile launcher. And then it came with 10 figures. So this one actually came with more figures than the good guys did. And it came with extra missiles. So, but yeah, it didn't. It was never produced. So, one other thing, real quick, on this line, there was also a mail-in offer, which came with a full-color 18 by 24-inch relief mat of Airlandia. So you get a whole map of the whole land. You get figures.
Do you have a picture? Did you see a picture of the map?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Was there a sea in Airlandia? Is it called the Airlandian Sea?
I don't think so.
I'm just trying to see if we can get all the different kinds of land and air all together in the same word.
Let me see if I can find it here. Hold on a second. That's the promotional piece.
Plus, Airlandian Sea. That sounds like something that would come out of Narnia.
It
Just
kind
saying.
of, kind of like, yeah.
So-
But the mail-in had that map. You had figures of Evil Emperor Arazar and Baron Jolt, and then you had 12 air-powered Tyrant missiles, 12 air-powered Air Raider missiles, and then you had another air launch glider. So,
Okay.
let's see. I
Okay,
think this
okay.
is the map. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let me see if I can share
Small
this. You
toy
guys
line.
talk for just a second.
Yeah, small toy line.
Yes.
Interesting enough that all the guys, basically like they're the army builders with a couple little extras. The gray and purple ones reminded me of the putties with purple on from Power Rangers. Just want to throw that out there. But the fact that some of the army builder guys still had names is kind of interesting. John?
Ocean of Mist.
Ocean of the Mist. They really landed, or they really didn't land that one, did they?
No.
Should have been the Airlandian Sea.
No.
Ministry of Winds. Cyclone Caverns.
Airlandia. This could be
Poison Jungle.
this could be another side
Crazy
world of what is that? What is that? That show with the puppets that Jim Henson did with the Xerxes and
Oh, that
the
is.
Dark Crystal.
Yeah, I know.
The Dark
Dark
Crystal.
Yeah, the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, this could be like
Mhm.
the Light Diamond.
Like,
Mm.
I don't know. Those
I
names
guess.
always kind of remind me of that stuff. So, what do you guys think
Yeah.
about these? Like, what do you guys? Are these cool? What do you guys think?
I think vehicles are pretty cool. I wish there was
Yeah.
more to, I guess, the figures and stuff again. But I mean,
The figures are just kind of bleh.
yeah.
But also they put a lot into the vehicles, so I kind of like that. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, here's a generic vehicle. They kind of repainted for the good guys, the bad guys. They, kind of did some stuff there, and you don't always need guys like really cool detailed dudes. You could have bought these cars and played with them with your GI Joes.
Yeah, and it's like Wheeled Warriors. It's like I said at the beginning. It's all circulated around the vehicles. It's not really. They tried to put some kind of storyline to go with it, and the comic books kind of put that into play. But the main thing was the vehicles themselves is what drove your imagination. So
Yeah, where do you guys rank these?
I'm gonna put these at number 3.
Number 3
Behind Wheeled Warriors, yeah.
Why?
Johnny,
Because I
put
was
your
looking at-
Beetlejuice down. It's fine.
I was looking at all the rest of them, and it's just the play value in these. Now I know after a while the tubes and stuff for the air that you push the air through to shoot the missiles, eventually those will wear out a little bit to where the air is not as strong to push the missiles as far. Like I said, some of these that I watched videos of people that still had their vehicles, when they pressed it, it would just the missile would just kind of peter out. It wasn't shooting across the room like I'm sure it probably did when it was brand new.
Oh yeah.
It would shoot a couple of feet, where now it's just a couple of inches. So
I'm
it
sure
just
we would have
the
been shooting at
time.
each other.
Yeah, time has probably not been good for those little rubber hoses that are in between there and everything.
Yeah.
But it just looks to me, the play value. It reminds me of like we talked about Wood Warriors, and then Mask. It's the vehicles. You had the figures. You had the figures that were all individual for Mask, but they were all about the same size. But the vehicles was the main part of your play value on that, and that's
John,
that's what I like about it.
I don't know if you know this, and our listeners may not know this either. Michael has a thing for cars, so I mean, it's right up his alley.
Oh yeah, but I was wondering more of why or below Wheeled Warriors and not above them. Because
I thought you were more of why are you putting this above my Beetlejuice?
no, it's not going above my Beetlejuice.
To me, Wheeled Warriors had more of a more play value because of all the pieces that interconnected between the pieces and everything.
It had a horrible cartoon, but a better play value. Where do you put this, John?
Yeah, kick the cartoon out.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna put them at 4. Below Wheeled Warriors.
Pushing Atari down.
Why are you pushing Atari down then?
Because he doesn't remember the Atari.
Yeah, sorry, but I do like. I love Atari. Okay, I thought that was a cool concept, but I never really got to play it. These you could play with and stuff.
You were only 3 years younger than me, so you weren't that far off.
Yeah, but by the time I got into the video game stuff, we had a Nintendo.
Yeah, we had Nintendo.
Yes.
But yeah,
evil Nintendo. No, it's actually
Nintendo.
Actually,
I'm
I'm
going.
a big Nintendo fan.
We know
We
it.
all are.
It's okay.
Nintendo.
Interestingly enough, Michael went 3, John went 4. I'm going 5.
You're going 5.
Yeah. I do. I'm with you on this, Michael. I do think the play value of these is really cool. I like the fact that like it doesn't bother me that the character or the guys are all kind of the same. Because you've got the
Well, there
plenty
was
of other
no,
lines that you could play
there was
with
no,
the guys.
there was no. Well, other than the comic books, there was no other storyline to push the figures as people in the storyline. It was just the vehicles. So yeah, the generic guys didn't bother me none. Yeah.
We can't all have, or not every line can be like Turtles or He-Man, where you've got crazy vehicles that go with crazy characters, and you got all this in there. You've got to have some that kind of concentrate on other things, like Mask and Wheeled Warriors and Air Raiders. Now, that's kind of where it is. And I will say, I do like this line a lot better than that Acrobat one that we talked about, that you slid them down the lines. I can't remember what it was called. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I know which one. Yeah.
The name is escaping me, but I'm still going. I'm going with 5 on this one. And if you're wondering, that you can see all of our rankings for these, for all the ones that we've done on our website, toyrewindpodcast.com, where you can also see things like our tracker, our toy company tracker, where Hasbro is going to be up to 12 now that we've talked about this one as soon as we go live with this. And then links to our bingo sheet, our merch, our rankings, reviews that we'll get to at some point. I have some more Turtles I need to review back here, but lots of stuff along with all of our podcast episodes and links to our social medias. And you can always get over to a good old place called crossthestreamsmedia.com, where you can go and leave us a voicemail if you find our show. You're just looking for the red Toy Rewind podcast logo. From there, down at the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little microphone. You click on it, leaves a message. Let us know what you think about the podcast, what you think about the toy lines we talk about. If there's a toy line you'd like to hear about, or if anything that, you just want to tell us, like, John, grow your beard out, or Andrew, stop being weird, anything like that. You can even diss on Michael's Rangers. We don't care. We'll play it.
No,
We'll
let's
have
not
fun
do
with
that.
it. Let's not diss on the Rangers.
No, let's not.
They can diss on the Rockies all they want. They're not going very far.
Let the Rangers be better this year than they have been in a while.
I mean, at least you guys have made it to a series. So yeah, leave us a voicemail. Let us know what you think about anything. Let us know what toy lines you'd like to hear us talk about, or anything about the other toy lines. Like I said, this is episode 114, even though we thought it was episode 4.
And make sure you check over, if you want to, check over our YouTube channel as well. So you see how we upload these videos while we're doing this, so you can actually see us while we're talking about it.
Yeah, you'll actually
then you can really make fun of us then. Yeah,
right.
So.
That's kind of what I was going for. Like, you just make fun of us, whatever you want. I don't care. You say what you want. Anything. We would just like to hear from you. Tweet us, send us an Instagram.
And there's also some videos for Motoring Monday as well. I actually uploaded one this week too on Monday.
We got one.
Wow.
We got a Motor Monday. So check out those videos, anything like that. We try to do as much content as we can, but we're all busy also. So, actually, this is a good line. And Michael, you said it was going to be short, but see, we dragged it out. That's what we do. We talk about all the different details and stuff like that. So, Hasbro, this was not a fail. It might have only lasted a year, but this was not a fail, and could be prime for a return. You never know. All kinds of stuff happening. I think Mask hits before this one, but that's just me. Anything else you guys want to add?
Yep, I think we're all good this week.
All right. Well, I'm
we actually
happy.
made it through the whole.
I was going to say, I'm happy to say we made it through this episode. So thanks for listening. If you made it this far, send us a tweet with a car in it, and we'll send you a sticker. We love to send those out. All right. Well, with that, sorry, I don't have my notes. On behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind podcast, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.